What's good, people? Touchdowns and Tangents, live from the Good News Sports Station in Hawthorne, California. I am PD Camarillo.
And I'm Kenneth Berry.
And we're here today for the usual NFL takes and topical tangents. Shout out to the X Squad affiliates. Shout out to FBC Radio. Shout out to your favorite podcast app where you can find this podcast, as well as our own website, touchdownsandtangents.com. Kenny's a little trigger happy today.
Better be glad I forgot to queue up that one song. Actually, let me look for it right now.
Oh no, we're not doing that shit again.
Oh, we're doing it.
We're not playing that shit.
We're playing
Don't play that shit, please. This
Do you think that's gonna help you asking me not to play it?
Please don't play it.
Because I'm gonna play it.
This guy's been playing this stupid ass Lion King. What do you call it? Cover?
It was like a cover of the Lion King intro.
But some like white non-binary person.
She looked like Flo from those commercials.
And she can't hit the high note, so that she has a Polynesian homie come in to hit the high note.
Exactly. It was wild.
But with that, man, how's your week been? What's good?
I can't complain. People still act like idiots in delis and anywhere food's being served. So there's that.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel any better,
it won't.
You're not the only one having a hard week. You know, between the franchise tags, shout out to Dak Prescott, man. His brother out here on Twitter saying he doesn't know how long he's going to be a Cowboys fan because that team just keeps giving the Prescotts the runaround.
They just won't pay him his money, what he wants. That's what it comes down to. They almost had a deal, too, at the deadline.
But the people who did get paid
are all pretty happy right now. Starting with Mr. Chris Jones. The Raiders passed on him, by the way. Carl Joseph.
That go.
You took Carl Joseph, 15th overall, when you could have just took Chris Jones. And he was the 5-star recruit coming out of high school in the Mississippi State. And they've been known to produce NFL D tackles. And he had, the best combine for a dude his size. And you passed on him. And he went to the Chiefs in the second round. And the rest is history. And so many people in the Raiders in the draft scouting department should probably be fired. But wow. Whoever made those decisions. But, so he signed a 4-year, $85 million contract. I want to say he got $60 million guaranteed. Some crazy
Mikael the PG, courtside, shout out to him. He's ecstatic. He pretty much believes that the Chiefs are going to be unstoppable for the next few years with the nucleus of Jones and Mahomes. He thinks that they're not going to be like the Seahawks or other teams that they thought would be great only because Mahomes is still so young.
Well, I'm going to just say this.
AFC West is coming, boy.
No, actually, I think that when Jay-Z lost those 92 bricks, the Chiefs found them. Brent Veach, Big Veach, Larry Hoover, he decided to flip those 92 bricks and use that money to pay for Patrick Mahomes' record-breaking contract and then Chris Jones' record-breaking contract almost.
Another player who broke the bank this week, Derrick Henry, your boy, Tennessee Titan, former Alabama Crimson Tide.
Raiders passed on him too.
Earned $25 million in guaranteed money.
25.5.
With $50 million overall in a 4-year deal.
Which is pretty much like a 2-year deal. But he's making I think $13 million a year or something like that.
I mean, considering
how
people have been talking about the death of the running back, it's pretty substantial. The other element of this that's interesting is he actually reduced his cap hit this year because the money that he's going to be making is going to be over that 4-year contract. It's backloaded. So his cap hit is actually only $6 million this year, which puts him well below even Todd Gurley, who just re-signed with the Falcons.
Yeah, but Gurley's situation is kind of different.
Which is what was going to bring me to my next question is, are the Titans going to regret this? 3 years down the line, is he going to play out that 4-year deal?
I think they'll regret paying Tannehill all that money because Derrick Henry is their offense. He was 69% of their offense in the playoffs, especially against the Ravens.
But I'm saying down the line, 2 or 3 years from now, is Derrick Henry still going to be a Titan, and are they going to be kicking themselves for giving him all this money, just like the Rams did this past offseason?
Nah, because Derrick Henry didn't have an injury history.
That's true.
He's literally built to run the ball 300 times a year. Like, that's a crazy thing to say, but he's a freak of nature at 6'3", 250.
And he was, a damn near backup for 2 years behind DeMarco?
Yeah.
So
and then had to split time with Deion Lewis, and we saw how that worked out. And then if you look at his receiving numbers, since he's coming to the league, like 57 catches, 578 yards. So he's becoming a better player every year. Like, he showed last year that the year before when he had the greatest fantasy rushing game ever, and he was on my bench. 50. I think I was 57 points. I'm still mad about it. I gave him up for nothing. He didn't do nothing the whole year.
I think I had him in FanDuel that week, so I think I won money.
I traded him for somebody, and then they didn't use him. They were buried on his bench. And, 57 points later, nobody benefited from it. We were just all mad.
So we'll get to running backs a little bit later when we talk about man ratings. But otherwise, people who didn't get paid included A.J. Green, still making way more than I think. I read a meme. It was like A.J. Green was making more than all the Rams receivers combined this year. Hunter Henry, he had already expressed earlier, couple weeks ago, that he didn't expect to get a long-term deal before camp. He's had his own injury histories. Brandon Sheriff, who a lot of people thought was going to bounce in free agency, he's still going to be playing on a 1 year. Joe Thuney, Matt Judon, he dropped a SpongeBob meme waiting at the table because he hasn't got his check. Yannick Njoku, did I say that right? I never say it right.
Nyakwe, I think that's
Nyakwe. Yeah, he is still on the trading block, but he did not get a long-term deal either. Reports say the Jaguars want to keep him. They already turned down a deal featuring a Pro Bowl player that didn't fit their scheme. Wonder who it was.
Interesting.
Leonard Williams.
He's an 80 overall in Madden, by the way. Explain that to me.
Who, Leonard Williams?
It's an 80 overall in Madden, apparently.
Yeah, that's kind of trash. But yeah, he had already said that he was cool with playing another year on the franchise tag just because he's going to get a full season with the Giants to kind of prove himself, hopefully earn some more money, or end up like his former Jets counterparts, Sheldon Richardson and Mohamed Wilkerson. Just run defensive tackles in the ground.
All 5 techniques. They ruined all 5 techniques. They ruined Sean Ellis.
Bud Dupree didn't get a long-term deal. He will play on the franchise tag.
He wants to classify as a defensive end instead of a linebacker, too.
Which brings me to Shaq Barrett, also wanting the same thing.
He signed his.
There's actually an argument out there that they basically need to make a whole new position for edge players and just pay them accordingly, put them in their own category. Because, as you said, if you're not a defensive end, you're not a linebacker.
But you're doing both.
It doesn't really matter until, it's time to get a check. Then we got to talk about that. Justin Simmons, safety for the Broncos, no long-term deal. And Anthony Harris, safety with the Minnesota Vikings, no long-term deal. They'll both be playing on the franchise tags as well. Any other thoughts on the tags?
I mean, when it comes to Dak, I hope he's not trying to get like $38 million because I just don't see it happening.
That's what he's been saying. He's saying he wants to break the bank.
Fam, 35 is cool. 37 is cool, but if there is a season, once they pay Lamar, you're not getting Lamar and
I think the
Mahomes
other
money.
thing is, Dak already has a hard enough life. Every other week, he doesn't know how much pull he's going to get on the offense. He's already on the hot seat. Just between him, Zeke, and Cooper, he's lower on the chopping block. So,
which is funny because he has 2,000-yard receivers and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is Dak's got to be real with himself. I mean, Jerry Jones isn't going to make him bigger than the team. He's not going to make him bigger than Zeke or Cooper.
And you went at 31.5 to like $33 million. Like, that's kind of his range. Like, now that Mahomes is the ceiling, everybody else is finding out where their floor is. And you kind of got to just accept that. But if this was Jerry Jones' plan the whole time, it's pretty ballsy.
I just think it's funny because every year we talk about how the franchise tags, need to go. We talk about how they're essentially a way to keep players with their team for 6 years because you signed a 4-year deal.
7 almost.
4-year deal with the 5th-year option, and then you can get a franchise tag, and then you can get another franchise tag on that.
Transitional.
So 5 to 7 years, you're looking at playing with the same team. And then by then, you're already 29, 30, and people are already trying to take your job or get rid of you. So I just think it's funny. I only bring that up because we just went through a CBA negotiation, and everyone was talking about they wanted to get rid of franchise tags, and guess what? They're still here. So we're still going to be talking about them. And that brings me to the next topic. The topic that has been brewing, building up all fucking week. If you've been on Twitter, you've seen all the passive-aggressive, I got sources, GIFs and memes, and it finally dropped today. The Washington Post reported the Washington Deadskins, as we refer to them on this show. You might know them as the Washington Redskins, but Washington Football Club, Washington Foreskins. Washington Dead. What else? What else was there this week? Red Tails.
I think you said something about Red Bones.
Nah, come on, man. We can't say that after what I'm about to say right now.
It was bad. I mean, somebody said you call them the Predators, and somebody's like, the Nashville Predators are already a thing. Like, too late. Predators is already a team name, but that's a whole other issue.
Yeah. So reports surfaced that. I think it was from like 2006 to like 2019, over 15 female ex-Redskins employees alleged sexual harassment that included people from the scouting department, included, associates close within Dan Snyder's circle. Snyder is the owner of the Redskins, and also I think he owns Six Flags.
Wait, what? He owns Six Flags Magic Mountain?
Yeah, that's how he made. He owns the entertainment company that owns Six Flags.
This is like when I found out James Dolan owned the Forum. I was like, what?
Yeah, man. They create corporations so that they can own things without it being easily traceable to one person.
He owns Six. No wonder why it's so trash. Six Flags is trash. There, I said it. Hurricane Harbor was way better.
Six Flags is for side chicks.
Yes, it's for side chicks.
You take your main girl to Disneyland.
Side chicks and girls named Charlotte.
You only go to Knott's if you get a free ticket. Or have a company party.
Or if you want to go eat, because their restaurants are fire over there. Those are,
the outside, Boysenberry Jam.
The outside of the park.
The Boysenberry Jam.
The chicken and mashed potatoes. Don't start hating now.
Nah, man, I've had that shit way too many times. At the fucking company parties. My parents used to have company parties there all the time.
My mom used to have company parties there, too.
Soggy ass chicken parmesan.
Oh, no, if it's outside, then you know